Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Uh, we will talk about translations of hyperbolas. So we will translate the center from 0, 0 to hk. And as we did in the ellipse, when we translate the center, the equation changes. Instead of x square, y square, I'll have x minus h square and y minus k square. And all the points will change. I will add h to any x coordinate and k to any y coordinate. So for example, this was the vertex. The vertex has coordinates when the center is 0, 0. It has coordinates a0. Now it would be a plus h and k. The foci, this focus has coordinates negative c and 0. Now it would be negative c plus h and k, and so on. So this is the horizontal hyperbola in which x minus h to the power 2 is positive. And this is the vertical hyperbola in which y square is positive. And the relation remains as it is, c square equals a square plus b square. So let us sketch the graph of this hyperbola. What is the center? We need to find the center first. Let me write center. What is the center? X minus h square, so h is 2, y minus k, so k is 3. So the center is 2 and 3. Let us graph. Plot the center. 2 and 3, this is the center. Now I have 16 below x minus 2 squared, so I'll go 4 units to the right, 4 units to the left. This is 2. If I go 4 units, I reach 6. So there is no need to. This is the point. And 4 units to the left, so 2 minus 4 would be negative 2. Now this is below the x square, so this line is the transverse axis, and these are the foci, the vertices. These 2 points are the vertices. So if I want to write the vertices, vertex 1, for example, has coordinates negative 2 and 3. Vertex 2 has coordinates 6 and 3, if anybody asks about the vertices. And if you remember, after that, we go also 3 units from the center. So if this is 3, if I go below 3 units, I will reach this point. Okay. And if I go up 3 units, I reach 6. And now I draw the fundamental rectangle. This is the fundamental rectangle. And then I draw the asymptotes, the diagonals of the fundamental rectangle. Of course, you have to watch the previous video about hyperbolas with center 0, 0 first. Okay. And these are the vertices, so I just connect, draw the graph, and it should approach the asymptotes. So this is the graph of the hyperbola. Where are the foci located? The foci would be located here. Okay. What are the coordinates of the foci? The center is 2 and 3, so the foci would have coordinates. Now I will add c to 2. Okay, I'm going to the right and to the left, so 2 would be changed while 3 will remain 3. So I need to find c. Well, c square is a square plus b square, 16 plus 9, 25. So c is 5. So I have focus 1 would be 2 plus 5, and focus 2, 2 minus 5. So negative 3 and 3, 7 and 3, this would be the two foci. If you call this F1, F2, it doesn't really matter. These are the two foci. What are the equations of the asymptotes? Okay, now we have y minus 3 squared. So I write y minus 3 instead of y. You remember the asymptotes where y equals plus or minus. But now the equation of the asymptotes would be uh, y minus k. It is not written here, so let me write it here. Y minus k equals plus or minus b over a x minus h. Okay, here it would be y minus k equals plus or minus, below y I have a square, so a over b x minus h. These would be the equations of the asymptotes. So y minus 3 equals plus or minus below y 9, so 3 over 4 square root of 16 x minus 2. These two equations are the equations of the asymptotes. Now here I have an equation of the hyperbola of a hyperbola, but it's not written in the standard form. How can you figure out its equation of a hyperbola? Coefficient of x squared is positive, coefficient of y squared is negative. So this is not an ellipse and not a circle because 4 is not equal to 25. So we need to complete the square. I take 4 as a common factor. I have x squared minus 24x. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. And now I need to add a number, 6 over 2 squared. 6 over 2 is 3 squared is 9. Now take negative 25 as a common factor because it's the coefficient of y squared. 250 divided by negative 25 is negative 10y. Okay. 10 over 2 squared is 25. Now 489, I'll take it to the other side. And I add it to the left-hand side, 4 times 9, which is 36. So I add the same number to the right-hand side. And here, negative 25 times 25. 25 times 25 is 625. So negative 625. So I have 4x minus 3 squared minus 25 y minus 5 squared equals. For more information about completing the square, uh, see the ellipse. How did we complete the square in the case of ellipse first? I have negative 100. So now I divide by negative 100 to make the coefficient 1. Well, when I divide by negative 100, y squared would be positive. So I will write it first. So I have y minus 5 to the power 2 over negative 100 over negative 25, that's just 4, and then minus x minus 3 to the power 2 over 100 over 4 is 25, and negative 100 over negative 100 is 1. And this is the equation of the asymptotes written in the standard form. Now, to sketch the graphing, to sketch the graph, I need the center. What is the center? Well, pay attention to the center, x minus h. So you take h from here. So h is 3, y minus k, so k is 5. So the center is 3 and 5. So let us sketch the graph of the center or plot the center. 3 and 5. This is the center. Y, below Y we have 4. So we go 2 units up and 2 units down. And below X I have 5. So I go 5 units right and 5 units to the left. And I can now draw the fundamental rectangle. I can find any information about the fundamental rectangle. For example, corner points, area, perimeter, whatever he asks about. Okay. Endpoints, what are the endpoints of the fundamental rectangle? For example, this endpoint, what are the coordinates of this endpoint? 8 and 3. Okay. So I can write this 8 and 3. What about this one? This is 8 and 6, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 5 and we went 2 units up, so this is 7. So this point has coordinates 8, 7. This point negative 2, 7. This point negative 2, 3. So I can write the endpoints of the fundamental rectangle. And the diagonals of the fundamental rectangle represents the asymptotes. Where are the vertices? Y is positive. So the vertices are here. Try to graph a curve that passes by the vertex and approaches the two lines, the asymptotes. Okay. Where are the here? Where are the foci? The foci would be here. If he asks about the vertices, for example, well, one of the vertices is this vertex 3 and 3. This vertex is 3 and 3. And the other vertex is 3 and 7. Because we added 2 up and 2 down from the center, which is 3 and 5. Now, what are the equations of the asymptotes? Y minus 5 equals plus or minus 2 over 5 square root over square roots times x minus 3. These are the equations of the asymptotes. What about the foci? C square is 25 plus 4, that's 29. So I'll add square root of 29 where up and down to 5. So 3 would be the same, but 5 I'll add plus or minus square root of 29. So I'll have 2 foci, and these are the coordinates of the 2 foci. Find the standard form of the equation of each hyperbola. As usual, I draw or sketch graph the information. The center is negative 2 and 1. This is the center. The focus, one of the focus foci, negative 2 and 6. So this is the focus. This is the center. The vertex is negative 2 and 4. So this is the vertex. Well, the distance, this is 1, this is 4, this is 6. The distance from the center to the vertex gives you A. So 4 minus 1 is 3. This is the vertex. You can sketch the graph if you like. And the distance from the center to the focus, which is 6 minus 1, 5, will give you C. So C is 5, A is 3. And the hyperbola is a vertical hyperbola. So Y is positive. The center is negative 2, 1. So this is H This is k. So y minus 1 squared over minus x plus 2 squared over equals 1. Now over y minus 1 squared, I have a squared, which is 9. And here I have b squared. Well, b squared is c squared, which is 25, minus a squared, which is 9. And 25 minus 9 is 16. So this is the equation of the hyperbola. Use the center, vertices, and asymptotes to graph each hyperbola, locate the foci, and find the equations of the asymptotes. What is the center? X minus h, y minus k. So k is 1. Negative 2 and 1. This is the center. 9 units, 9, so 3 units to the right and 3 units to the left. So this is negative 2. When I add 3, I reach 1. When I subtract 3, I reach negative 5. And 5 units up. So this is 1. When I add 5 units, I reach 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I reach negative 4. And I can draw the fundamental rectangle as dashed line. Okay. And now the asymptotes, the diagonals of the fundamental rectangle. Yeah, it wasn't good because this is larger than this. So it's, please understand that. And now where are the foci? This is x square, so the foci are here. The vertices, sorry, are here. So this is the graph of the hyperbola. This is the transverse axis. It is horizontal. And the foci will be here, located here. So to find the foci, the center is negative 2 and 1. I go right and left. So I change in negative 2. So the foci would be negative 2 plus or minus. C square is 25 plus 9, 34. So square root of 34. These are the coordinates of the foci. The equations of the asymptotes y minus 1 equals plus or minus 5 over 3x plus 2. The center here is negative 2 and 0, x minus h, y minus k. And please, you can sketch the graph and continue like this one as an exercise for you. Sketch the graph of the hyperbola. Here the center is x minus h, so it's negative 1 and 2. Okay, notice that this is a horizontal hyperbola, where this is a vertical hyperbola. Also do the same and sketch the graph of this hyperbola. Let me do this one. I need to divide by 9 all of them, all the terms, to write it in the standard form. 9 over 9 is 1. So I'll have 1 here, and this is 1 also. So what is the center? The center is negative 3 and 4. 3 units right and left. 1 unit up and down. This is the fundamental rectangle. These are the asymptotes. It is a horizontal hyperbola. So that's the graph of the hyperbola. As usual, equations of the asymptotes y minus 4 would be equal to plus or minus. I have 1 here, and square root of 9 is 3, x plus 3. The foci, negative 3, 4. I will go right and left because this is the transverse axis. I add c to negative 3. Well, 9 plus 1 is 10. So c is square root of 10. So these are the coordinates of the foci. Here again you divide by 5. So I will have y minus 2 squared over 5 minus x plus 3 squared over 5 equals 1. See here a equals b. This is one example when a equals b. Well, the center is x minus h, so negative 3, y minus k, so k is 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is the center. Square root of 5. Square root of 5 is 2.2. So 2.2 units, this is negative 3. 2 units, 0.2, I reach here. 2 units, 0.2, I reach here. Okay. It should be the same distance. Okay. So let us say negative 4, negative 5, and here for the graph to be accurate or not accurate, close to. And square root of 5, 2 units, point something, so I will reach here, 0.2, and 0.2, so I will reach here. And now I can draw the fundamental rectangle and then the asymptotes. And it is y, so it's a vertical hyperbola. This is the graph of this hyperbola. And the foci would be here because this is the transverse axis. So to find the foci, I'll add c to 2 because I'll go up and down. So negative 3 will remain the same. But what is 2? What is c square here? C square is 10, so c is square root of 10. So 2 plus or minus square root of 10. These are the foci, and the equations of the asymptotes. Now, square root of 5 over square root of 5 is just 1. So these are the equations of the asymptotes. Okay, convert each equation to the standard form by completing the square, then graph the hyperbola. Locate the foci and find the equations of the asymptotes. Same, but we need to write it first in the standard form by completing the square. So I have 4x squared plus 32x minus y squared plus 6y equals negative 39. I should take 4 as a common factor. Then I'll have plus 8x, 32 over 4 is 8. 8 over 2 is 4 squared 16. I should take negative 1 as a common factor. 6 over negative 1 is negative 6. 6 over 2 squared is 9. I have negative 39. I added 4 times 16, that's 64, and negative 9. So I have 4 times x plus 4 squared. Square root of 16 is 4. Y minus square root of 9 is 3 squared. And I have here negative 39 plus 64 minus 9, that's 16. Dividing by 16, I will have x plus 4 to the power 2 over 16 over 4 is 4. And here y minus 3 squared over 16 equals 1. So that's the equation of the hyperbola written in the standard form. The center is x minus h, so it is negative 4 and 3. And I believe you can sketch the graph and continue as we did in the previous exercises. Let me also complete the square for this one. Well, I have 9y squared, so I'll take 9 as a common factor. Negative 18y, so negative 2y. 2 over 2 is 1, squared is 1. Now, negative 4x squared, I'll take negative 4 as a common factor. Plus 24 over negative 4, that's negative 6. 6 over 2 squared is 9. 63. I added 9. I added negative 36. So y minus 1 squared, x minus 3 squared, 63 plus 9 minus 36 is 36. Dividing by 36, y minus 1 square over 4, x minus 3 square over 9 equals 1. What is the center? X minus h, 3, y minus k, 3 and 1, and you can continue as usual. This is 3, this is 1, 2 units up and down, 3 units right and left. Draw the fundamental rectangle and the asymptotes. Y minus 1, so the vertices are here. The equations are y minus 1 of the asymptotes plus or minus square root of 4 over square root of 9, x minus 3. The foci would be here on this line. This is the transverse axis, and the coordinates would be, I'll go up and down, so 3 will not change. 1 plus or minus 9 plus 4 is 13, so square root of 13. Take 4 as a common factor. Negative 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 over 2 squared is 16. Negative 25y squared. There is no y, so that's it. Negative 164. 4 times 16 is 64. And that's it. I did not add anything here. So 4 times x minus 4 squared minus 25y squared equals negative 100. And if it is negative 100, I have to divide by negative 100, and the signs would be changing. So x is not positive in this case, x would be negative. Here I will have y squared over 100 over 25 is 4. And then this one would be negative x minus 4 to the power 2. 100 over 4 is 25 equals 1. And now the center is 4 and 0. Okay. And you just draw the graph as usual. Please do it. And the foci would be c square is 29. So the center is 4 and 0. It is vertical hyperbola. We will go up and down. So the foci has coordinates. 4 remains the same. I add square root of 25 to 0. So this would be the coordinates of the foci. The equations of the asymptotes would be y equals plus or minus square root of 4 square root of 5 times x minus 4. Okay, so if you want, this is 4 and 0, go 2 units up, 2 units down, 5 units to the left, 5 units to the right, draw the fundamental rectangle, the asymptotes, and it is up. So this is the graph of the hyperbola. That's it. I hope you understand the hyperbola now and the difference between the hyperbola and the ellipse.